I'm going to show you a few ways that you can use Photoshop's shape tool for the picker card project. The first way you can use it is to create a bordered box, which is one of the required elements of your card design for this project. And the purpose of the box really is to create margins for your card suit, like your heart, spade, club, or diamond, and your number or letter to kind of live within comfortably so it's easy to read on your card. Most cards have some form of bordered box, and it can really be, as I'll show you in a second, any color you want it to be. It could be filled with a color, it could be stroked or outlined with another color. Here's how you create it. So 2 tools below your type is your shape tool. You can actually activate it by hitting the letter U on your keyboard. Okay, and I'm going to draw a rectangle that is pretty evenly distributed on my card design, which I can always change later, the position or size of, if I want to. Now, by default, it fills with white and it strokes with black. Stroke is just a fancy name for an outline. So it's got a 1 pixel wide stroke and it's filling with white. You're not locked into that. You can easily click on that and you can decide, no, I don't want it to fill with anything. Click on this little symbol here and it will take the fill away. And as far as your stroke, you can make it as thick as you want and whatever color you want. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to use this little spectrum picker box here. So you can pick a color if you want. You can pick it from the swatches here or from this spectrum ombre looking picker thing. Or you can actually move your cursor into the image and it becomes an eyedropper, and you can change it to whatever color you want inside of the design. So if I choose that I want, the dark blue of Cookie Monster's fur, I'm going to hit OK. It's kind of hard to see, but it did fill with blue. You can actually see up here where it says stroke, there's a little blue outline now. And I can make it wider if I want. So if I wanted to make a 4 pixel wide stroke, it just changed it for me. So that's that. You can click on any other tool or any other layer to get out of it. Now, obviously, I want to move this down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is move this rectangle below the Cookie Monsters. So Cookie Monster's in front of it, right? The cool thing, too, is you can always edit it again. So if I change my mind about the color of the stroke or the fill, I can go back to it, that layer. And as long as I'm on the shape tool, I can go and change, like, for example, the stroke. Maybe I want it to be yellow, which feels very Sesame Street-y looking. And keep in mind that these little guidelines, too, that show up, they're not really, they're not going to stay there. Like when you click off of that layer, you'll see that it just kind of goes behind Cookie Monster, which is, that's based on the order of your layers over here. Okay, so now the other way you can use the shape tool is if you create type, right? So say I want to do K. I'm going to type a K for, make sure it's the right color here. Okay, K for king. Make it whatever size I want it to be. Cool. Now say I decide that I don't want that color and I want it to be a different color with maybe an outline around it. There is a way to convert your type into a shape. Okay, so here's how you do it. You make sure you're on your type layer. You go to the type menu and go down to convert to shape. So what you're doing is you're telling Photoshop to convert what is currently a type layer into a shape. So you'll see it changed down here, right? So there's no longer a capital T there. It's actually the little shape symbol, which you see on the rectangle we just drew. So now you can actually click on your shape tool on the menu, and you can change that fill to the same yellow. You can change the stroke. Actually, this blue is right here in this little list of colors, but you can also just go over into this area if you want. Oops. Stroke. Click on the little picker. Find that blue or similar blue. Hit OK. And you can make it as thick as you want, right? So it's very easy to convert type into a shape. Now you should know that it only really works in this case when it was created, the type that is within Photoshop. So if you bring it from a website like 1001 Fonts, it's not as easy to convert those into shapes, but there are other ways to change the color of any font you find off those sites. And again, if I change my mind and I want to go back and change that type, maybe I want to take that fill away, or the stroke away, right? And maybe I want the fill to be that dark blue. I could do the same thing. Cool. The third way to use the shape tool is for the playing card suits, which right now I have open, but it's in a separate tab. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Window, Arrange, Float All in Windows, so that my separate documents are floating in separate windows. The suits, playing card suits, used to be really easy to find in Photoshop. It's actually part of a shape library that Photoshop has, but it's become harder to do that. So what I've done is I've saved up a file for you to just access easily, whichever suits you need. Okay, so for example, if I want to do like the diamond, I'm going to go to the diamond layer, and I'm just going to drag it over. Okay, notice that these are shapes, right? So the little shape symbols there. You can scale it by Command T, right? Make it as big as you want it to be. Right? If I want it to be that same blue, again, I can make sure I'm on the shape layer, shape tool rather, and then go to fill. And that blue is actually in that library because it's the most recently used color that I used. Hit return, and now I have the exact same color. So it's pretty cool.